I think the same rule applies this week as it did last week. You know, we said some months ago that this was going to be a political-free morning show leading up to the presidential election. And we broke that last week with the assassination attempt, because that really wasn't politics to us. That was history. And I think you got to talk about history again today with Biden dropping out of the presidential election. I think we saw it coming, but we didn't see it coming.
Exactly.
You know?
We thought it could be a possibility, but didn't know if that possibility was going to come to fruition.
I had a feeling it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it would actually happen. But I think it's for the best.
Yeah, they dug their heels in so much that I was like, I'm convinced that these are the two candidates again. So when I saw the news on my timeline yesterday from entertainment news outlets of all places, I was pretty shook, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, this is the first time that somebody has dropped out of a presidential election since like 1968 or 9 or something like that. And this is the latest in an election year that anybody has dropped out. So, man, if you're a Democrat, you're like, what's next?
I mean, if you followed the breaking news yesterday, when Biden released his statement, he is endorsing Kamala Harris, his VP. Of course, I think the Democratic National Convention's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And so, I mean, that's not set in stone that she's going to be the one that's running for president for the Democratic Party, but you need delegates and they have to appoint somebody. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's endorsing her and other Democrats have come out endorsing her, that's also history in and of itself, that this, could be the first black woman president.
Yeah, and this to me is it's just such BS, man. I mean, I felt so... I feel like so fooled. Like we all sort of knew where Joe Biden's head was at, right? Leading up to this thing, but everybody telling us that he's okay. And then during a debate, you see how bad it really is. I just felt so misled.
Yeah, I saw an interview with, I think his name is Speedy, a guy named Speedy that Biden did like literally 9 days ago, where he said he was 1,000% in, and it would have to take something really serious for him to drop out. And then 9 days later, here we are.
It's not the age that bothers me. I mean, I know a lot of 80-year-olds. I know 90-year-olds that are like right there with it, man. But clearly during that debate and everything after that, you could tell. I mean, this for the next 4 years, no way.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of 80, 90-year-olds that are with it, but I think we all have seen what 4 years as president does to a person. Like, you can see how it ages somebody, and that's not an easy job. So there's been a lot of talking about how there's an age minimum for the presidency. I think there also should be an age maximum for the presidency.
Maybe so. I think I read yesterday that he was the youngest senator ever and the oldest president ever. So he certainly spent his entire life trying to be a patriot. That's for sure. And he has tried to do his best for this country.
He's spent he has dedicated his life to service for this country. And I think that it should be, noted. There was obviously a lot of outside pressure for him to step down, but ultimately it's his decision. Mm-hmm. And it should be commended that he's putting pride aside and he is putting the betterment of the country ahead of his pride, and he is stepping down, because this is historical. This is a huge deal.
I was reading in Politico this morning that he was still set to continue to run, and some of his closest allies, his entire life, drove to Delaware this weekend and said, my man, from across the room, because the president has COVID right now. Mm-hmm. So from across the room, they're like, my man, this is not going to happen here. And then they were showing him some like new polls. And I think when they were done with that, that's when he made his decision. He and his wife made the decision because nobody saw it coming. I mean, it was like just yesterday. He's like, no, I'm in this thing. I am in it. And when his closest confidants came in to talk to him about it, that's when he's like, all right, it's time to tell the country and do what I got to do.
He listened.
Yeah,
he listened to the people that he trusts and he cares about, and they obviously care about him, and they also obviously care about the country and want what's best for it.
I never thought I would see an audible this close to the election.
Yeah,
really
that's crazy.
What that scramble looks like.
I know.
Man, seriously.
The Bert Show.